Understanding this has changed everything for me. Let me give it to you right away. The lower your vibration, the louder the ego voice becomes in your mind. Conversely, the higher your vibration, the quieter the ego voice is in your mind. If you apply the easy steps I'll provide to you in this video, you will never again be tricked and taken over by the ego voice in your head ever again. Hey, what's up you guys? I'm Fernando. Welcome to my channel. Now, first things first, let's face a fact here. The ego voice will eventually get loud in our head. There's no escaping it. We're not killing the ego. The ego is part of the third dimensional experience, right? The ego voice is that voice in our heads that, likes to put us down, especially when we're already feeling low. Because as you now know, the lower your frequency, the lower your vibration, the louder the ego voice is in our head. And so we're already feeling down, and then the ego is like telling us this whole series of, lies, such as you're not good enough, you're not cute, you are undeserving, you're not worthy, other people know more than you do, they deserve more than you do, they succeed and you don't, all these lies that are really not true. And then because we're already feeling low, we begin believing it because we begin thinking, we think that that voice is who we are. We think that that voice, motorcycle passing by, I'm sorry. We think that that voice is actually, is the authority of us. It's crazy, right? The ego voice in our head sometimes can have so much power over us if we're not aware of what's going on. And so if you follow the steps I'll provide you in this video for whenever the ego voice gets too loud, I promise you, you'll be able to go through it. We're not bypassing it. We're just going through with class and dignity and remaining as who we really are, the light, not the ego voice, okay? So remember, you are love, you are light itself, you are cosmic energy, you are God, basically, right? Having this experience that comes with an ego. And it's part of the design, it's part of the game. We're not fighting the ego, we're not resisting it, because as you know, what you resist persists, right? And so this has changed everything for me. Because ups and downs, right? It's awesome and feels delicious to be high vibe, right? And the more we practice these concepts, the more we stay here predominantly. But life is life. Life happens and we have the ups and downs. And then when our vibration is lower, the ego, gets a little excited and it's like, ooh, it's my moment to, have a party at your expense, And so the ego is like this, you suck, it's telling you a whole bunch of lies. And remembering who we are when that's happening is everything because it gives you your power back. So last week, I usually film videos on weekdays. So I have my routine, I go to the gym, I take cold showers, it's a whole thing and I love it, okay? So when I come to film, I'm usually feeling very high vibe and so excited, to communicate my message to you guys. And that's great. So last week, I wasn't able to film on Friday. And then I was like, you know what, I'll film on Saturday. And that's what I did. But I didn't have a good night's sleep. I didn't take a cold shower. I was feeling a little off. I didn't go to the gym because I don't go to the gym on weekends usually. But I had this video idea that I was going to film. And then I came here to film and things were just not flowing. And so I tried once, twice, and it was like, I filmed 2 videos and I was like, this is not happening, okay? I could feel my energy not being right. And then ultimately I was like, you know what? I'm just not gonna do it because I want the videos to be inspiring and I want my energy to come across to you, you know, when you're watching the video. And so I was like, you know what, I'm not gonna do it. So I was already not feeling up to par. And then I, you know, came here, filmed videos, and I was like, this is not happening. And so I quit it. And so I was like, what's going on? And so my vibration in general that day was lower. And so what happens when the vibration gets lower? The ego begins to expand. It's this relationship is unbreakable. It's like a seesaw, you know, there's a direct correlation there. And so I remember feeling kind of weird, and then the ego in my mind, I could hear it. I heard it. I was like, I hear you. It doesn't feel comfortable, right? And so the voice was, you suck. You know, like, you suck. You know, other people succeed and you don't. Who cares about your message? You know, like, I could hear all of those things, but thankfully enough, I'm now aware of it. I'm not exempt from the experience of having the ego regurgitate those thoughts. It doesn't feel comfortable. It doesn't feel nice. And so we're not exempt. But not identifying with it, not thinking that that voice is saying things that are true, is the first step, right? Because then you know that it's like, oh, my vibration is low, that's why. Isn't that interesting? So knowing that, oh, my ego voice is a little loud, why is that? Vibration is low. Isn't that interesting? If you hear that voice that's throwing up all those not fun, you know, ideas in your mind, and you're like, oh, it's because my vibration is low, is only why. The ego thrives in third dimensional frequencies, density. When we're in spirit, meaning when we're not incarnated, there's no such thing as an ego. There just isn't. Because it's like think of a fish. And then you're like, the fish is going to thrive on land. I'm sorry, it's just not gonna happen. Okay, it's just not gonna be the case. And so when we're in spirit, it's like we're on land and then the fish cannot thrive. The fish being the ego, right? And then when we come to the earth, meaning like when we go for a swim, the fish is all there and all energetic and all like alive. Hopefully this is making sense, right? And so the ego thrives in dense, low frequencies. That's why when your frequency is low, the ego gets bigger. Even on earth being here, when we raise our vibration, the ego gets quiet, just like this. It's still here because we are localized here on earth, but it's so tiny. See, there's not even a balloon for the ego here. As opposed to this one, like a huge balloon, like telling you lies, right? So the ego is there, but it's pretty quiet. It's not really, you forget all about it, right? But then when the lower frequencies come, it's like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. So when you remember that the ego is a byproduct of lower densities, you are able to sit with it and be okay, right? And so the steps I'll provide you in this video right now, actually, you can use whenever that's the case, okay? Here's step number 1. Acknowledge. Acknowledge it. Which is what I was just talking about, right? It's like, I see you there. I know why you're there. I know why you're present. It's because my vibration is low. You are in control, if you think about it. If you look at it this way, and you're not so identifying with it, you're looking at it objectively. Right? When you look at something objectively, you are not it, right? And so acknowledging it is looking at it objectively. It's it's not going to feel good. We're not bypassing it. The ego is present. The vibration is low. It's not really fun, but acknowledge it and look at it objectively. It's only because my vibration is low and ego thrives in lower densities, in lower frequencies, right? So that's step number 1, acknowledge it. Step number 2, love it. This is the Ho'oponopono love. This is the unconditional love. This is the love that transmutes any darkness back to light. Is the love that raises any lower frequencies back up, right? It's the unconditional love, is the love that is who you are. It's not the third dimensional ego-based love. There's a difference, right? The ego-based love is the love that we give to the people we feel deserve our love. That's the 3D love. So you're not giving the ego-based love to the ego. You are giving the unconditional spiritual love to the ego, right? It's the love that you give to your enemies. Love thy enemy. I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you, right? From Ho'oponopono. So this is what you get to do to the ego. You love it. You love it unconditionally. The ego is here, it serves a purpose, it helps us in some situations. We're not trying to kill it, we're not trying to fight it or anything. And so you get to love it. So you acknowledge it and you love it. You can even do some Ho'oponopono here. Place your awareness in that feeling, that you're having as the ego is throwing up those thoughts. And I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love 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 you. Love it, love it, love it. To quote Dr. Hugh Land from Ho'oponopono, he used to say, love the disease, love the extra fat, love the problem, love all the negativity, because it's the love that transmutes everything back to light. So that's step number 2. Pretty easy, right? It's easy, easy peasy, okay? And then step 3, pick yourself up. Pick yourself up. Because the thing is, when we're feeling low and the ego is throwing up those thoughts, what we tend to do when we're not aware of what's going on is we begin to beating ourselves up. And so we're feeling low, the ego expands, begins to tell us lies, and then we begin beating ourselves up. And so things compound and we end up in a horrible, horrible place, right? And then we're like, yeah, I'm not enough, yes. And then we begin perpetuating all of the lies, and it's just terrible. So what does picking yourself up mean? What does it look like? You are going to treat yourself, okay? So you can cook your favorite meal or order your favorite meal. You can watch a fun movie, an uplifting movie. You can take a shower, a hot bath. You can do whatever it is that is fun for you. Remember, the frequency of having fun and being in joy is the frequency, is the universe communicating with you that that's who you are. So finding and doing that is such an amazing shifter, okay? You're picking yourself up, you're treating yourself, which is the opposite, the polar opposite of beating yourself up, right? So acknowledge the ego and know why it's there, and now you know. Love it, love it, love it, meaning transmute it, transmute it, transmute it. Not by resisting it, but by loving it, right? When you resist something, it persists. When you love it, unconditional love, you transmute it back to light, okay? And in doing that, your vibration rises again, right? And then you pick yourself up. So you're treating yourself. You're doing something that's fun for you. We're not trained to do that. We're not conditioned to do that. Right? So this is what you get to do, because this is what changes everything around. And so that Saturday, when I was filming and things were not happening, my vibration was lower. What I did was, I was feeling low, I did these things, and then my pick yourself up moment was, I went to bed with my beautiful dogs, whom I love dearly, and I took a nap with them, which I love. You know, so we were in bed for like an hour. And I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna lie here and I'm just gonna be, you know. It's okay that the video didn't get filmed. It's fine, you know. And that's what I did. And when I got up, I was feeling much better. And then I went ahead and did the other things that I was going to do that day. And it was perfect. So that's what this looked like for me that day, you know? And then my vibration got higher again and things just fell into place. And so isn't this beautiful? Isn't this simple? Isn't this simple? The biggest challenge here would be step number 1, I guess, because if you're totally identifying with the ego, then you will be stuck in a low vibe place, because the ego is like, we need revenge, we need to do something about it, we need to fight the 3D, I need to throw a fit, right? That's what the ego is telling you to do. And so if you're able to not identify with it and just follow these 3 easy steps, I promise you, things will change. And then whenever the ego gets a little too loud again, you just go back and repeat the formula. And it works, and it's beautiful. So I can't wait to hear how it goes for you. When you apply this and you see the results, please come back here and drop a comment, okay? To inspire other people, to let me know. I would love to know how it goes for you, okay? And so if this video resonates with you, I filmed a video just on this not too long ago. And so if you want to explore this subject a little bit more, I'm going to go ahead and link that video right here so you can go and check it out